Hello, my name is Erica Priest, and I am a naturalist for the Scientific and Natural Areas program with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. Today, I would like to show you how to use iNaturalist while enjoying our state's wonderful SNAs. So what the heck is iNaturalist, and why do we like it so much? Simply put, it is an online citizen science project, which is exactly what it sounds like, science done by everyday citizens. It's science that anyone and everyone can do. iNaturalist provides physical, tangible information powered by the masses. Even though they would love to, scientists cannot be everywhere at all times. But there are so many people out enjoying nature at any given moment. Imagine if every single one of those people recorded just a few of the plants and animals they saw. That would be quite a bit of useful information. iNaturalist connects experts to enthusiasts. Not only is it a platform for sharing what you saw, iNaturalist is also a place experts can see and identify your observations. Last but not least, iNaturalist is loads of fun. All of these reasons are why we want to encourage you to use iNaturalist when visiting Minnesota's scientific and natural areas. Now that we know the why of iNaturalist, let's talk about the how. Today, we're going to go over how to take identifiable pictures, how to get your observations onto iNaturalist, and then what happens to your observations after you upload it. First things first, your picture needs to be identifiable. When an expert looks at your picture, they need to be able to see the key identifying features of the organism. A key identifying feature could be anything from the color of a bird's tail feathers to the shape of a plant's seed pod. Try to make the picture as clear as possible. It is hard to ID something you cannot even see. Multiple pictures are always helpful if you can do it. Some things, like trees, are impossible to get all of their key identifying features in one photo. Remember the goal of your picture. While a beautiful landscape photograph might be enjoyable to look at, it is going to be difficult to ID that one tree in a picture of hundreds of trees. Some organisms, especially animals, can be difficult to get a good picture. A bad picture is still better than no picture. You never know what feature of that blurry bumblebee might be enough for someone to ID it. As you can imagine, different taxa of organisms have different generalized key identifying features and the best ways to capture those. Next, we are going to go over some tips and tricks specific to plants, mushrooms, and birds. iNaturalist also has some guides on how to take good pictures, such as Getting Good Photos for Identification, which you can find by going to www.inaturalist.org/guides/2465. Let's start with plants. They can be the easiest subjects to take pictures of because they don't move. However, plants can be tricky because the difference between one species and another could be an easily overlooked detail that if it isn't in the picture, it's impossible to ID. That is why it is important to take multiple pictures of plants. Try to make sure to have a good picture of the whole plant. Silhouettes can be very helpful. Get a good shot of the leaf, but make sure you are getting the whole leaf and not just the leaflet of a much larger compound leaf. The way organisms reproduce is always a good way to ID them, so if present, make sure to get a picture of the flower and fruit. How the leaves and branches are attached to one another can also be very helpful in identifying a plant. You rarely find just one plant out by itself. They are normally growing in and amongst quite the diversity of other plants. Make sure that it is easy to tell which plant in your picture you want identified. Cropping the photo can help with this. Mushrooms, like plants, don't move, so taking pictures of them are a snap. Also like plants though, making sure to get those subtle key identifying features in one photo is critical, so multiple pictures is a must. Mushrooms have a completely different set of things to look for when trying to ID them. Make sure to get a picture of the top and the underside. Not all mushrooms have gills. Some have pores, teeth, or are completely solid underneath. Not only that, but size of pores, shapes of pores, whether the gills are free or attached to the stem, can all be features that are helpful in ID. Another helpful bit of information is what is it growing on? Is it growing out of pure soil, a decaying log, or a living tree? And if so, do you know the species of the tree it's growing on? The more information you provide, the more likely you are to get an ID. Birds are a very popular group of organisms, and many people enjoy viewing them. They can, however, be tricky to get good photos of. When taking pictures of birds to be identified, you want to try to get the color and shape of the bird, and details of the face if possible. Including a bit of the scenery in the photo can also be helpful, as it can be an indicator of behavior and habitat, which can sometimes help with identification. When taking the picture, act normal, don't sneak. Sneaking makes you look like a predator, which can cause them to fly off to safety and out of sight. If you are trying to capture a bird in flight, aim for the bird to be in the center of your photo, follow it with your whole body, not just your neck and shoulders, and then take the photo. Now that you have gotten some pointers on how to take identifiable pictures, let's see how we get them as observations on iNaturalist. You can upload straight from an app on your phone, or if you do not have the app or used a camera other than your phone, you can upload to the iNaturalist website. We will go over both methods next. In addition to your photos, you will also need some other information: date and location of the photos, species if you know it, and any additional notes you might have that could help in identification. First, we will start with the app, which is free and available to download on both Apple and Android devices. These are examples of what you may see when you open the iNaturalist app. The one on the left is from an Apple device, the one on the right is an Android device. When you are ready to make an observation, you will tap the area at the bottom of the screen that says Observe with the emblem of a camera to the left of it, or the green circle with the white plus sign inside it. I have circled them in red. When you click the Observe button, it will open your camera and look like this. If you want to take a picture, you will tap the green circle at the bottom center of the screen, or the green camera emblem with Take Photo written underneath it towards the center of your screen. I have circled both in red. If you already have taken a picture, click the photo emblem on the right side of the screen. That will take you to the photo gallery on your phone, where you can select the picture that you want to make an observation with. I have outlined this option with a blue triangle. If you do not have a picture and are unable to take one, click No Photo on the left side of the screen. I have outlined this option with a purple rectangle. It is highly advisable to always have a picture, otherwise your observation will never be deemed research grade, which we will talk more about later on. My particular Android device also has the option to upload or record a sound observation. I have underlined these in black. Another difference with my Android device is you must tap Take Photo before it will open your camera. Next, you need to approve your photo by either tapping the Next or check mark. I have circled these in red. If you do not like your picture and would like to try again, tap Retake or the trash can. These I have outlined with a blue triangle. Once you have approved your picture, or after you have selected one from your phone's gallery, it will take you to a page like this, where you can add additional information. If you would like to add multiple photos, simply tap the plus sign at the top left corner of your screen, and it will take you back to the camera screen. The nice thing with the app is that it can automatically grab the date and location from your phone. At this point, you have the minimum amount of information to make a decent observation. However, there is some helpful additional information you can provide. If you tap the area of the screen that says, "What did you see?" it will take you to a page like this, where you can put the species of the organism you observed. If you don't know what it is, as long as you are connected to the internet, iNaturalist will give you suggestions based off of what has been observed in the area and what looks similar to your picture. If you are still unsure what species it is, put the closest group of organisms you are sure of, such as maple or hawk. Even putting just plant or animal can help your observation be identified quicker. If you select Geoprivacy or Location Visibility, it will open this submenu. If you select Open, everyone can see the location of your observation. Obscure only gives a general location of the observation, and Private means no one besides you can see the location. You might want to choose Obscure or Private if the organism is sensitive or perceived as valuable. iNaturalist automatically obscures organisms with at-risk conservation statuses. While iNaturalist is made for organisms that are wild and naturally occurring, you can make observations of non-wild organisms. Just make sure to select the captive cultivated option. Feel free to add any notes such as time of day, habitat information, etc. in the notes section. The last option on this screen is projects, which we will talk about in a later video. You are now ready to share your observation. Tap either Share at the bottom of the screen or the check mark at the top of the screen. I have circled both of these options in red. If you do not have the app, or you took the photo with a camera other than your phone or tablet, you can upload your observations via the iNaturalist website. The process by which you do this is very similar to the app, so I am mainly going to focus on the differences. Before you start, make sure to save the pictures you want to upload to your computer. Once you've done that, open the iNaturalist website by going to inaturalist.org. When you do, it should look something like this. To make an observation, you will click the green Upload button in the top right corner of the screen. I have circled it in red. That will take you to this page. Click the blue Choose Files button towards the center of the screen, which will open your computer's file manager. Find your photos, highlight them, and then click Open. As you can see, this looks very similar to what we saw in the app. If you have multiple pictures of the same organism, simply click, drag, and hover it over one of the other pictures, and when you let it go, it will merge to become one same observation. A downfall of making observations on the website is many times you have to manually input the date and location. Simply click the date box and choose the correct date to insert it. Next, click the location box. This will open a map for you to choose the observation's location. Zoom in to the approximate location and click about where you observed the organism. A red circle will appear, which essentially says your observation was somewhere within that circle. You can move the circle by clicking and dragging the white dot in the center of the circle. If you wish to change the size of the circle, click one of the white dots on the outside edge and drag it until the circle is the desired size. When you are satisfied with the placement and size of the circle, click the blue Update Observation button at the bottom of the window. Just like with the app, when you click the Species box, iNaturalist will give you suggestions based off of what has been observed in the area and what looks similar to your picture. Make sure to put something in this box, even if it is just plant. The more information you provide, the quicker your observation will be identified. Location Privacy setting and the Captive Cultivated option are on the left side of the screen. Once you have entered all the information that you know, you are ready to submit your observation. Simply click the green Submit Observation button at the top right corner of the screen. I have circled it in red. Once you have uploaded your observation, it will start out with a Needs ID flag next to the name. Once 2/3 of the identifiers agree on a species-level ID, it is considered research grade and scientists are able to use it in their research. There are a couple other symbols you may see next to your observation. A casual flag means that it will never be considered research grade, and its current identification is as good as it's going to get. This happens if there's no picture, date, or location. It can also happen if something is captive or cultivated, or if it has been determined that there is no way to ID to species with the information provided. This is why you want to make sure to photograph as many features of the organism as possible. If your organism is a non-native, introduced, or has a risk conservation status, you will see an extra symbol designating that. If you click that symbol, you will be provided with a little information about the designation. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you use iNaturalist the next time you visit one of Minnesota's scientific and natural areas. If you have any questions about what was covered in this video, feel free to email me at arika.preas@state.mn.us. Keep an eye out for future iNaturalist videos on topics such as identifying observations on iNaturalist, SNA projects on iNaturalist, and SNA field guides on iNaturalist.